You play the way you play best. That's how he plays. Again, I saw the same thing. I didn't think it was a flagrant foul. Obviously, the league disagreed.
A $10,000 fine coming down yesterday, but the league does not worry about intent. They worry about the action. That's how they grade the fine. And the Blazers begin it with Sabonis on top, bringing out Ostertag. He squeezes a pass into Brian Grant. And the rebound by Karl Malone.
And you can see they want to get Grant off early, more than just points. They would love to get Karl Malone in foul trouble. You know, the Portland Trailblazers, if Grant gets in foul trouble, they have other guys. If Malone gets in foul trouble, you're in trouble.
Acrobatic shot by Malone won't go. The rebound by Sabonis, his first of the night. And he triggers it off to Stoudamire.
Now you have veteran officials in this game. Now, the first play, Grant goes to the hole, tries to draw a flop foul, doesn't get called for it. Watch for that in this game.
Wallace had his shot altered inside, and Stockton comes with Stoudamire right there. Ostertag is above the arc. Hornacek is on the side, and the drive by Stockton, who feeds to Malone in a 3-second violation.
And you can see already early in the game, Malone's doing his job. He's going to try to set some nice picks, but that's how the Jazz play. Nothing illegal there. That's how they play.
For about 12, 13 years, that's the way they play.
Yeah, and it works.
And very successful. Riders on the low post, tangling with Hornacek. Pass into the double team Wallace, and the rebound by Wallace. Loose on the floor, kicks out to Stoudamire. A fresh shot clock, and Stoudamire puts it up. And the rebound, fought for and volleyballed inside, retained by Stockton. To Karl Malone, the mismatch on Sabonis.
I tell you, that there was poor defense because Karl Malone had already used his dribble. So why are you giving him room? Once you use your dribble, you can't go anywhere. Crowd him and make him pass the ball.
Here's Stoudamire, the mismatch on Ostertag. Outside to Wallace, who buries the shot.
And that's a big shot. They would love to get him off. They think they have a great advantage with Rasheed Wallace at the 3 position.
Do you think they do?
Yeah, they do. I mean, just look at height alone. Rasheed Wallace is tough to guard for power forward.
Sabonis knocked it away, and the ricocheted ball is retrieved by Grant. Down for it, 3-on-2. Wallace from Stoudamire. Restriction by Ostertag. Ostertag has come out with his second block in the first quarter.
Yeah, played well in game 1. And by saying he played well, don't look at the numbers. He was always around the ball defensively. And when the big guys around the ball, they make you change shots.
Malone inside, crowding Grant, and Grant draws the foul.
Karl Malone falls and flops on every single play, and you have to be careful. You have to get away from him when he's going to the basket. And look at this block here by Ostertag. Really didn't block the shot. I think Rasheed Wallace just went too hard trying to dunk the basketball. That's just a missed dunk.
And if you're defending Malone, what are you thinking? I mean, what kind of recipe do you come up with for him?
Well, it's tough. Obviously, if it was easy, Malone wouldn't be a great basketball player. And that's what makes him so tough, because he has a finesse game with his jump shot, but he's mostly a power game player. Difficult guy to guard, obviously, and he does such a great job at drawing attention to the officials whenever he's touched. One of the great actors of our time.
Yes, and one of the great scorers, number 4 all-time in the NBA. Malone, whose free throw shooting has improved every year he has been in the NBA, has all 4 of Utah's points so far. Here's Isaiah Ryder. He has been a factor in every playoff game. Grant wheels into Malone, and a foul called on Karl Malone.
Yeah, nice job by Grant.
Bob Delaney.
Yeah, and the difference between Grant and Wallace is the guy that'll shoot that fadeaway jump shot, and that kind of bails Malone out. But Grant will barrel into you. He's going to use his body, tries to play very similar to the way that Karl Malone played. That was a good call right on the arm.
6'9", Brian Grant, who has the matchup with Karl Malone. Game 1, these were the numbers.
I think you look at that bottom number, 17 free throws to 4. I thought that was the dominant stat of the game, the free throw shooting of the Utah Jazz. It allowed them to stay in the game in the first half, even when they wasn't shooting the ball well, but they were always on the foul line.
And Grant fouled out. You said fouls a big factor tonight.
Always when you're playing the Jazz, fouls are a big factor. They do a great job of drawing.
A scoop pass by Stockton to Ostertag. Rebound by Grant, gets around Malone, feeds to Stoudamire. By Stockton, pushing his way into the Utah defense, out to Ryder. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Russell knocked it away and drew the foul.
See, so now you have Russell guarding Wallace on the post. That's a great matchup for the Portland Trailblazers. In game one, at this point in the game, Grant was already on the bench, and Wallace was at the forward position. This is a great matchup with him down low on the three.
Rebounding numbers early, really, Doc. Portland can post up on Utah across the board.
Yeah, the only place they can is at the point guard position. But then they have a quickness advantage at that spot.
And a Portland turnover, and here comes that quick point guard Stockton.
You could see that the entire play. Stockton comes off, both defenders go to Stockton, and there was no doubt where the ball was going to go. To Karl Malone.
Blazers have gone 1 of 6 shooting so far in this game with 8.5 to play in the first quarter. Ryder and Hornacek, and there's a foul called on Hornacek.
Now you can look with Karl Malone early, fighting for position. Problem is he took his eyes off Karl Malone, and we talked about in game one, you can never take your eyes off a Utah Jazz player away from the ball. They're always cutting, finding the ball, getting open shots.
Little help from Ostertag with Hornacek, and Sabonis is outside. The rebound snared by Hornacek.
Sabonis has to make that shot.
And a double foul has been called. Grant and Malone.
But that's good if you're the Portland Trailblazers. You don't mind that. Though that might be the second foul on Malone or second foul on Grant, that's fine. It's the second foul on Malone, and that's the key. And look at the bottom of your screen, getting tangled up. You know what? That's a good call. I think they both got tangled up. Personally, I think you shouldn't call anything. Let them get up and run back down court.
Good crew tonight. Refereeing this game, Hugh Evans, Bob Delaney, and Kenny Maurer. Ogman is going to come in for Grant, and this is very similar to a couple nights ago, Tuesday night in game one, as Malone sits as well. But Grant was taken out of that game and eventually fouled out of game one.
Yeah, but it's not similar, Kevin, because Karl Malone had to go out also. In game one, Karl Malone got to stay in the game because he wasn't in foul trouble. So though Grant gets in foul trouble again, I think it's a huge advantage for the Portland Trailblazers right now.
Shot clock at 7. Stockton working on Wallace, bumping into Stoudamire, feeding to Russell. Rebound by Sabonis.
And you look right now for the Utah Jazz, where is their scoring going to come from? And you look at Stockton and Russell, have to give them some scoring along with Hornacek.
Thurl Bailey is in the game for the Utah Jazz. Ryder again posting on Hornacek. Ryder rejected inside by Bailey. Retrieved by Ryder. Back out to Stoudamire. Through traffic outside. Wallace for 3.
Wow.
The 24-second shot clock buzzer.
How about that? Now, he's a great post player. He can play the 4 spot, and he can also step out and make the 3-point shot.
Portland had missed their last 7 3-point attempts going back to the second quarter of game 1. So that was huge. Stockton.
See, now you have to know, Karl Malone's out of the game. John Stockton will start looking for his shots. That's a key guy for the Jazz to be sitting on the bench with 6.5 minutes left in the first quarter.
Stoudamire drives inside, giving it to Sabonis. His layup no good. Sabonis has missed his first 2. Portland gets back nicely on defense, and Stockton holds it up, feeding to Hornacek. Ogman is there with the board.
Sabonis has to make shots because right now he's allowing Ostertag to just go everywhere and help. You have to make Ostertag pay if he's going to go and help.
Sabonis was 3 of 9 in game 1. Here's Ryder for 2. And that is only the 3rd hit on 11 tries by the Blazers from the field.
Yeah, yet it's 8-8. So you're really happy if you're Mike Dunleavy. It's a tie score. Karl Malone's out of the game. That's their primary offensive player. You have to like the way this game is going.
Stoudamire the foul, and a timeout taken halfway through the first quarter in Salt Lake in game 2. We're tied at 8.
It has arrived. 1999 Chrysler LHS. Timeless design, luxurious appointments, and power inside and out. On one hand, it's exceptionally quiet. On the other hand, it screams luxury. The 1999 Chrysler LHS. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Lease the all-new Chrysler LHS for just $399 a month.
One of the things that drives opposing teams crazy is the gamesmanship of the Utah Jazz.
Well, it's what they do. I mean, they're good at it. You can see the clamp right there by John Stockton. Here we call it the ultimate flop. I mean, it looks like Karl Malone was shot out of a cannon on that play right there. And they do it all game. Look at this. Look how deep Stockton gets up under. The only thing Weber can do is turn around, fall down, get a foul called on him, and then the ultimate come-with-me play. Watch the left arm and the hand grab, and you know who got the call? Jason Williams. So they are really good. And then final, the facial.
That little guy goes through a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he Stockton,
does. Huh?
They all do, and you have to like that. You know, I think the Jazz get knocked a lot for the way they play. I like it. I mean, I think they do everything they can to give themselves a chance to win, and the only intent they have is their intent on winning the basketball game.
Hornacek the miss, the rebound by Sabonis. Numbers for Portland as Stoudamire comes to a screeching halt. Rebound by Ostertag. Puts it up and can't make it work. And Stockton comes the other way.
See, this is a key time, in my opinion, by the Portland Trailblazers. They have to take advantage of this little time with Malone off the court. And they're not doing it. They're getting open shots right now. They're not falling.
Malone on the bench with 2 fouls, as is Brian Grant, wheeling inside. Hornacek rejected by Wallace. And loose inside, and a foul called on the Blazers.
And you can see someone missing assignment here. No one was guarding Jeff Hornacek. You can watch him go up, and there's the deflection there by Rasheed Wallace. And that's the foul.
We'll also tonight be monitoring the emotions of the Trailblazers, things that got them in trouble in Game 1.
Well, he really got them in trouble only towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter. I was talking to Tony Brown, one of their assistants. He says each time we play the Jazz, at some point they have a spell where they lose their composure a little bit, and it cost them the game. And it definitely cost them the game in Game 1.
Third turnover here by the Utah Jazz.
And you can see the power screens. The key there is someone has to call it out for the little man and tell them that there's a screen coming.
Portland has started the game 3 of 13. A foul on Isley, who takes the place of Stockton. That's his first.
See, now, people read the newspapers. The officials have been here for a day. They've been sitting in the rooms in Utah because there's not a lot to do, you know, looking at the mountains, reading the newspaper. And what they read is physical play, emotion, what we're talking about. And I think right now they're calling the game a little too close. This is the playoffs. Let the guys play, and you can legislate how you're going to make the calls.
Jermaine O'Neal is in for Portland as Ryder takes it backing into Hornacek and misses on the fadeaway. Rebound by Bailey. Another call, another foul. It's inside on O'Neal of the Blazers. His first.
Jerry Sloan was upset at that call, and it was for his team. He just yelled, let them play. I mean, he just wants to get some kind of rhythm, and right now they can't get that, either team.
Look at the fouls already called in the first 6 minutes of the game. We've been tied at 2, 6, and now 8. Isley and Stoudamire. Ostertag inside, colliding with Augment in a foul.
See, now, what I'm surprised at right now, that the Jazz are still having the same success at drawing fouls, even though Karl Malone is out of the game. It's usually Karl Malone, what we call the foul magnet. Right now, everyone is drawing fouls on both teams.
Ostertag, 5 rebounds and 2 block shots already in this game as he stands at the free throw line. And people think he's slow, but obviously there's a racehorse owner here in the Salt Lake City area. He thinks he's got some speed because he's named a quarter horse after him here in town.
I'm not going to even get into that because that gray horse might be fast.
He didn't say how old the horse was.
Yes. It's a donkey.
4.5 to play here in the first quarter. You saw Stockton and Malone on the bench. Ogden dancing with Russell. Rebound by Ostertag as he vacuums in his 6th of the game.
And right now, when you look at both teams, Rasheed Wallace is off the court, so is Brian Grant. Karl Malone is off the court, so is John Stockton. This is the key time in the game. In game 1, it was the Jazz's bench that turned the game around in the second quarter.
Good screen by Bailey for Hornacek. Neither team has scored in over 2 minutes in this first quarter.
It's a mispass right now.
And a lot of fouls being called as well. Hornacek is on Ryder. Rebounded by Russell inside. Kicks it off to Hornacek. He'll pull up for 3. Russell gets the rebound. And a fresh 24 for the Jazz with 3.5 to play in the first quarter.
This is a great example when you don't have your go-to guys on the court, how difficult it is to score. You know, you hear sometimes teammates complain that they don't get the ball, they can play well. Well, yeah, you can play well when a Michael Jordan is drawing all the double teams or a Karl Malone, but when they're out and you have to score on your own, it makes it difficult, and you can see these two teams struggling.
Utah shooting 21%, the Blazers 18%. Both teams have missed a combined 11 consecutive shots. Great save by Hornacek. Tops it out to Isley. 3-on-2. He tried to find Bailey in the pass behind the veteran Bailey.
Yeah, that's just a tough pass that Howard Isley tried to make.
A horrible start in Salt Lake. With under 3 to play, Utah holding on to a 1-point lead.
We're still not where we want to be defensively, though. We have much more room for improvement. We're going to try to correct some things. But, you know, we're definitely happy to come out of here 2-0.
I know, Doc. They only allowed 70 points. Pretty good job in game 2.
Pretty good defense, and they've already played 2 home games because there was more people cheering for the Knicks in Atlanta than it was for the Atlanta Hawks, which is a shame if you're an Atlanta fan. You cannot allow that. The Knicks get 4 home games.
Game 3 on Sunday on NBC. And when Grant and Malone both went out with 2 fouls apiece, only 1 point has been scored since that time.
Yeah, and that's advantage to the Jazz because when Malone goes out that early, if they could just stay close, they're happy. And they've done better than that. They're actually ahead by 1 point. I think if you're Jerry Sloan and you're looking at the score right now, you don't mind that. You have your key guy on the bench, and you're still up 1 point.
Portland has missed 5 consecutive shots. The Utah Jazz have missed 6. Here comes Stoudamire out there with Sabonis playing with a foul. Wallace, Ogden is out on the floor, and Ryder has it against Hornacek. Sabonis and Ostertag, and the double comes late, and the hook won't go. Tapped up and in by Wallace, waiting on the wing. Sabonis has been stone cold in this series.
Really has been, and he's allowing the bigs on Utah to affect shots. I think right now they just put Rasheed Wallace back in the game. Him and Damon Stoudamire have to do something offensively.
Sabonis knocked it away. 3-on-3. A shot deployed by Stoudamire is rebounded by Ostertag, who now has 7 in his pocket in the first quarter. For the Jazz, Hornacek, Bailey, Isley, Ostertag, and Shandon Anderson in for the first time. Isley in the lane over Stoudamire. Rebounded by Sabonis. And gets it to Stoudamire, who should be thriving in this environment.
Yeah, him, Ryder, Wallace, all of them should be right now. And you can see how difficult it is every time for the Jazz. But right now, the Jazz are making it difficult for Portland to score. Great defense. The Jazz right now, defensively, are really honed in.
Ryder with the travel, and he told us today his knee now at 85% compared to 75% on Tuesday, and he had to pivot off that knee right there.
Yeah, you can see the travel, and it was caused basically because he got his foot tangled up with Jeff Hornacek. I think Jeff Hornacek in game 1 did a nice job, and in game 2 is doing a nice job already. But again, I think it's because Sabonis is not making the open shots. It's allowing Ostertag to help out.
Greg Anthony comes in for the first time. Defense is his calling card as he works on Isley. Stoudamire to the bench. 0 of 3 for Stoudamire starting this game.
Yeah, 0 of 3, a couple turnovers. He had 7 turnovers in game 1.
minute and a half to play here in the first quarter. Isley knocked away by Ryder. Hornacek, one to shoot. Hornacek up and he counts. Beating the shot clock buzzer. Oh. Finally, somebody has scored.
Yes.
That breaks a drought of almost 6 minutes for Utah. Ryder inside, working on Ostertag. And a foul called on the Utah Jazz.
And you can look at Jeff Hornacek right when he catches. See him glance back. What he's doing is just looking at that clock. Boy, I thought this was really close.
Ooh. We're blocked out on the release. Let's watch it here.
I mean, this was close. Dunleavy didn't think he got it off. I thought he got it off just in the nick of time.
Isaiah Ryder at the free throw line, a guy who grew up in the same neighborhood as Jason Kidd and Gary Payton. And his first free throw goes astray. In the Oakland, California area.
Well, if you look at the two quarters, the fourth quarter they score 5 points, and they come out now in the first quarter, and they only have 10 so far, now 11. That's 16 points basically in 2 quarters from the Portland Trail Blazers. That's not good.
Looks like the Knicks in Atlanta. Just saw Grant on the bench with 2 fouls. Isley working on Greg Anthony, whose shoe is untied. Intercepted by Isaiah Ryder. Anderson picks up Ryder here. Hornacek is on the bench. Anderson successful against Ryder in game 1. This time Belief in the rebound by Ostertag, number 8.
Anderson's a little bigger.
Yes.
And so he can hold off Ryder from banging him and getting deep position.
Now Ryder's going to have the weight advantage, but the length goes to Anderson. With the fake and the slip inside. Rebounded by Sabonis. Both teams shooting about 21%.
But I tell you, if you're Jerry Sloan right now, though your team offensively is not playing very well, Karl Malone went out, and it was 8.5 minutes in this game in his first quarter, and it's a tie score.
Ryder for 3, and he puts it down.
And you don't mind that at all.
Just under 3 seconds to play in the first quarter as Bailey, who did the same thing in game 1, tosses it the length. Same result. Good if it goes off the top of the backboard, and the first quarter, thankfully, is finished. The Blazers get a 3 from Isaiah Ryder, but it was led by the 7 points of Rasheed Wallace. Blazers at the end of 1 lead at 14-11.
I'm going to show you the future. It's called the Macintosh.
They were 2 men who changed the world.
It's Apple's. We can't just go and steal it.
You're not listening to me. I want it!
Noah Wiley as Apple computer founder Steve Jobs.
I trusted you!
Anthony Michael Hall as Bill Gates.
They were not stealing from you.
Pirates of Silicon Valley. See it for the first time anywhere Sunday, June 20th at 8 on TNT, the best movie studio on television.
What about calling long distance?
Well, let's look it up on the pricing guide.
Are you going to be calling daytime, nighttime, peak time, off time, airtime, big time, East Coast, West Coast?
What?
Don't worry. You're going to take one of these.
With Sprint PCS, you get the simplicity of the new free and clear plan, including free long distance, and the clarity of the nation's only 100% digital, 100% PCS network built from the ground up. I'll take it.
Got anything lighter? Hi.
Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular.
Rejoice, citizens. The delicious whippersnapple fruit smoothie is here. Your blender is now obsolete. 1 blender gets you 1 whippersnapple fruit smoothie.
A blender! Say hey!
6 tempting flavors, blended fruit juice, fruit puree, and other good stuff.
It's better this way.
Come, be like the others. Choose whippersnapple today.
The best stuff is in here.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Welcome back to the Delta Center here on TNT. The NBA playoffs. It's game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. We've had history, too, an all-time playoff first quarter low between these two as we send it over to Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin and Doc. And you guys, forget about Powerade and Gatorade and all those trendy drinks. What gets Greg Anthony going before and during a game is a nice cup of coffee, much like Orlando's Darrell Armstrong. Now, a little cream, not too strong, lots and lots and lots of sugar. And, Doc, when you played, what got you going?
Mike Fratello screaming at me.
Or should I say, what kept you going?
It was Fratello's threats.
And they were many. We begin the second quarter with Utah down by 3, shooting 23% from the field. Todd Fuller is in, joining Isley. Into Malone and down. What a play by Karl Malone.
And this is another great example. Brian Grant's out. Rasheed Wallace now has to guard Karl Malone. Look at the great post position. And if you're going to foul him, you have to make sure he doesn't make the shot.
Great foul.
And he's good. He is really good. And I look at him, and I think of all the great actors of the world, and he's one of the better ones.
Think of some of the players, Doc, that were selected in front of him in the draft. Benoit Benjamin, John Koncak, Joe Klein, Ed Pinckney, Keith Lee.
Wow. Well, people make mistakes, obviously, and that was a big one. There's a lot of GMs who have taken heat over that one draft.
Karl Malone has accounted for 9 of Utah's 14 points. And Anthony out to Jimmy Jackson, and for the first time tonight, out there with Sabonis, Wallace, and Walt Williams. The hook by Sabonis continues to miss.
He is rushing his shots. He had great position, had the ball, take his time, and he gets an easy shot.
Ryan Russell into Malone, guarded by Wallace, and outside to Isley, picked up by Anthony. Shot clock at 8. Fuller over Sabonis. Fuller played well in game 1, 7 points and 5 rebounds.
Yeah, he's really starting to help this team. Now, he's another new guy into this system, and it takes some time to get acclimated to this Utah system. I think Fuller's done a nice job.
Williams the miss. The rebound is grabbed onto by Anderson, and here comes Isley the other way. Isley may have been caught in the eye.
No, he was caught in the eye. There's no doubt about that.
So he keeps the presence of mind to get that ball down low, and the ball's kicked out of bounds. Reset the 24-second shot clock, and let's see if we can pick it up.
Well, it's from Greg Anthony. He always tries to come back to get a steal on the inbound passes or off of rebounds.
Brian Grant comes back in the game, and Sabonis will leave as you take a look at Greg Anthony.
Now, Grant has to stay out of foul trouble, and I like what Mike Dunleavy is doing right now. He's going to put Rasheed Wallace on Karl Malone. He wants Grant to have minutes on the floor.
See the Jazz turnover woes continuing tonight, no better than game 1. Isley in for Stockton, a seamless substitution as Russell slides inside for 2.
Isn't it amazing how much better that this offense runs from the Jazz when Karl Malone comes in?
Yes.
It runs pretty smoothly now.
It has some confidence.
And they know that 2 guys will be looking at Malone all the time.
Williams giving in to Wallace. Outside Anthony for 3. Missed everything. Two minutes gone here in the second quarter. Kicked out of bounds by Anthony again, and they reset the 24. Timeout taken with 2:01 gone in the second quarter. It's Utah by 2. What? Well, Craig Sagers, you're in every series, for goodness sake.
I'm surprised you found me. I was switching planes away from San Antonio to L.A. I'm up behind the water cannon. Don't laugh, because if somebody illegally lights up a cigarette, everybody in the place will be doused but me.
We're glad to have you here, Craig.
Well, he's at every game. I think he should do the ad. He still loves this game.
He loves it. A fadeaway by Malone. And a foul called on Rasheed Wallace, who picks up his second. Grant has 2. And Craig Sager, you've been covering Los Angeles and San Antonio. What are your thoughts through 2 games in that series?
Well, tonight after this game on Inside the NBA, I have a report on Kobe Bryant. And the thing that impressed me most about last night was not the 28 points It wasn't the fact they missed the 2 free throws. But after he missed the 2 free throws, he walked up to Sean Elliott, who was at the free throw line, and told Sean Elliott, you make your 2, I'm going to send the game into overtime. The maturity and confidence of this kid is unbelievable. Obviously, L.A. has to score. They're getting nothing out of Robert Horry, Rick Fox, Derek Harper. They've had 8 total points in 2 games. Those 3 averaged 21 points a game during the regular season. They have to start scoring points. But I'll tell you what, Kobe Bryant, I think in Game 3, he is over the fact they missed the 2 free throws. I look for a career game, and I think L.A. will get back into it.
Greg, what kind of mood is Shaquille O'Neal in these days?
Well, he knows he's getting hammered, and that's the game plan that's not going to change. And if that's the case, then the perimeter should be open, and these guys who are playing a lot of minutes should be able to put down the shots. Obviously, you know, he did break that TV set, though. He tried to blame it on Coach Rambis, but we got to the bottom of it, and it was Shaq who trashed the TV set and was fined $400 along with his $7,500.
Oh, I tell you, as poor as they played, the Lakers, they probably should have won the game last night. And I thought the biggest play of the game was the fact that they didn't use the foul to give. I mean, that was a big play that they didn't do. But credit San Antonio's defense. I think they have effectively stymied Shaquille O'Neal so far in 2 games. Greg Popovich and his coaching staff, they've done a terrific job.
Isley just picked up his 3rd foul, so now Jerry Sloan's bench becomes a little shorter. Stockton will check in, and Brian Grant is at the free throw line for the Portland Trail Blazers. That'll affect that bench a little bit.
Oh, definitely. You know, and you bring in Stockton in, he may have set another minute or 2 for more rest. Jerry Sloan has a set way of substituting. Brings it out Stockton early in the first quarter and usually waits till the 8 or 7-6 mark in the second quarter. Has to bring him in a little earlier. I don't think it'll affect much, though.
Off the hands of Jackson. Shot clock at 15, and Portland's shooting tonight has been abysmal. 20%
yeah,
total.
Can't make you too confident when you follow your 4th quarter performance up with the way you're shooting now. In Game 1, I thought it was a lot of open shots missed. Tonight, I think the Utah Jazz are having a great defensive series.
Great pitch by Stockton to Malone, who drives inside and a foul. The 3rd foul is called on Wallace.
Yeah, now he has to sit. So this game is being played exactly like Game 1. The only difference is that the Portland Trail Blazers didn't have a great first quarter like they had in Game 1. They came out cold tonight where they came out hot in Game 1. If they don't watch it, could be a quick put away.
The Utah start was much like last night's.
Yeah, they struggled again. So, though as bad as Portland is playing, you know, now Mike Dunleavy was looking at the score and said, you know, we're only down 3 points. And you talk about the trickery. One of the things Mike Dunleavy said to do whenever you get tangled up is hold both hands up in the air. And you can see that that's what Greg Anthony is doing. Smart thing. That way they can't say that he's grabbing you or you're grabbing him. It's a smart thing to do.
Wallace has left. Sabonis has come in to join Walt Williams, Brian Grant, Greg Anthony, and Jimmy Jackson for the Portland Trail Blazers. Along with the second throw, he's out there with Fuller, Russell, Anderson, and Stockton. Portland has no field goals in the last 3 minutes. They've missed their last 4 shots from the floor. Jackson the drive. Anderson is there. He pitches it out to Sabonis. Again, he misses from outside. 0-5. Jackson can't hit. Out of bounds it goes. Portland's ball. Wait a minute, they change it. It's Utah's ball.
Open shots for Sabonis. And if he doesn't make those shots, Fuller and Ostertag are just keep helping, and it's going to make it difficult for the Portland Trail Blazers to score. Right when Sabonis starts making those shots, it'll open it up for everyone else.
Anderson in the lane, outside for Russell, bumping into Walt Williams. Shot clock showing 7. Great fake by Russell. Rebounded by Sabonis. He is rebounding well.
That's one of the things he did in Game 1 also is rebounding well. I think they need some of his points right now.
Jackson to Grant.
Nice job. Nice job by Grant. He understands. Karl Malone has 2 fouls. He wants to stay in the game, go aggressive, and attack Karl Malone.
And vice versa, Utah will attack Grant.
Yes. Oh, well, Utah always attack. That's the one thing you know about them offensively. But watch Grant here. Gets great position, turns, catches, and goes hard right away. Nice job by Grant.
Seven Utah turnovers, 3 for the Blazers. Utah shooting 26%. Stockton inside. Rebounded by Malone. Still digging it out. Anderson.
He is so confident now. Anderson doesn't take that shot last year. You know, Jerry Sloan told us before game 1, he believes when he takes a shot now, it's going in, and you can see it on that shot.
Anderson's points, the first for either bench tonight. Walt Williams. Rebound, Grant. Oh, what a presence inside is Brian Grant.
Yeah, he's working. You know, the one thing you love about Brian Grant is that he's going to play hard every single minute he's on the floor. The problem is, so far in these 2 games, he hasn't been allowed to stay on the floor because he's been getting in foul trouble. And then look at this shot from Anderson. He's preparing to shoot before he catches the ball, and that's the sign of a guy who believes he's a shooter.
On the bench with some foul problems is Rasheed Wallace. He's got 3. Grant has 2, and a lot of people feel these young forwards are the key for the Blazers tonight as Utah turns it over again. That's number 8 in the first half.
Yeah, a ton of turnovers. The one thing Jerry Sloan said he can't afford. He said, my team is turning the ball over. We've done it all year. We're 25th in the league in turnovers this year, and you're not used to seeing that type of number when you talk about the Utah Jazz.
7 Utah field goals, 8 Utah turnovers. Telling numbers. Malone trying to put the clamps on Grant, and unsuccessful there. Brian Grant has scored the last 3, and he's got 9.
Yeah, and I'll give you a hint. When Portland comes down the court the next time, they're going to go to Grant again, and they should keep milking it.
Anderson and Jackson. Great screen by Stockton, picked up by Jackson. The Utah's back on defense well. Grant slow to get up. Williams crowded by Anderson there. Into Jackson, the mismatch against Stockton, helped by Russell. Puts it in nonetheless. A great shot deployed by Jackson.
Nice recognition also. It was a switch. You had the smaller Stockton guarding Jackson, and they found him, and he scored.
Blazers shooting 26%, and they lead by 3.
Greg Anthony right now is giving John Stockton fits. Just giving him fits handling the ball.
Anderson got the feed from Malone but couldn't convert, and Anthony the other way. Portland is on a 7-0 run. Jackson splashing from outside, rebounded from Fuller.
See, that there I don't think you need. Go to Grant. If you don't have anything, a mismatch, go to Grant. He's been to your advantage right now.
Under 6 to play in the first half.
Unguardable. That shot is unguardable.
He will torch them all night long with the fadeaway.
Yeah, if he's going to make that, I mean, that's a shot. Unless you trap and get to him early, you can't stop it.
Traffic inside the lane. Quick foul is called, assessed on the Utah Jazz and Shandon Anderson.
And look at Grant's work in this second quarter. Comes in, when he's on the floor, his minutes have been productive. And then this is unstoppable when you have body and fade away.
It's a Blazer 1-point lead.
His arms up when he goes through. And that's what you're taught, really, when you play basketball. But, I mean, there's a point where you just got to say, you know, let's be a little bit more careful. And I think that's what the league was doing.
Yeah, the message, obviously, is probably accumulation of elbows, and Karl Malone gets the fine. I think Brian Grant is one of the classier guys in this league.
Great family man and a guy who is so involved in the Portland community. There's a foul called on Walt Williams, and more anxiety on the face of Coach Mike Dunleavy of the Portland Trail Blazers, bringing into these playoffs the youngest team in the Western Conference.
Well, they're playing a team that will be a great lesson for them. And learning on the job is one of the tougher things to do. But in the NBA, that's how you have to learn.
There's a steal by Sabonis. Utah has 10 turnovers spread out among 7 different players already. That was the first by Stockton. Anthony Grant knocking it in this time from outside.
Yeah, he's doing it from all over. I think he's doing a terrific job guarding Karl Malone right now. And you talk about defense all season. You've talked about the Portland Trailblazers. Greg Anthony was just caught tripping.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. I think so far in this game that the Trailblazers have been the team that's been getting away with a little trickery. You like that. They're learning quickly. That's a good one from Greg Anthony. He learned that in New York.
So here's Hornacek at the free throw line, a great free throw shooter. Number 6th in the NBA, but it didn't look like it there.
No, it did not. Nothing's looked good so far in this game as far as the offense. I think both teams have done a terrific job defensively.
So Anthony pleads his case, and there is the owner, Larry Miller, who was fined himself earlier in the year $10,000 with some jawing and some yelling at Greg Anthony. A couple nights ago before the game, Miller went into the locker room, talked to Greg Anthony. They settled their feud. Anthony said things are cool now. Stoudamire is back in. Pass inside to Stockton. Malone is left free with the hitch. And that cost him the basket.
It really did. I don't think he had the ball in his hand.
Nice break up by John Stockton.
Everything Damon Stoudamire is doing right now seems like it's a step too slow or a step too fast. He has not had good rhythm in the first 2 games.
Anderson corkscrewing inside. Rebound by Jackson. Utah shooting 26%. Blazers shooting 29%. Grant has been dominant in the second quarter, accounting for 10 of Portland's 12 second quarter points. It's Williams to Sabonis, who is stone cold. Drawing the double, passing out of it to Stoudamire, rotating to Jackson.
See, and that's Wallace again, causing havoc. There was a couple of stats that stood out to me in game 1. Damon Stoudamire had 7 turnovers. I thought the biggest stat was Sabonis had 0 assists. And if he's not going to make buckets, he's not going to be a threat. He's not going to draw double teams. And other guys will not be able to get off from his great passing.
Sabonis, the Lithuanian. Grant hits it. In game 1, Sabonis was the one to get in foul trouble, and Ostertag stayed basically free of foul worry, and consequently put in a very strong performance.
Yeah, you look at those numbers, and you really should throw in Fuller and Keith Foster, and between them, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. I think Jerry Sloan would take those numbers all night if he can get that from his 3 players.
Hard to believe, but that score is right. Late in the first half, this is the biggest Portland lead tonight. It's Stockton working around Grant, pitching it over to Hornacek. Stockton splits the defense, kicks it out to Anderson, who launches a 3. Malone is there. To Anderson, what a pass!
The best cutter in this league.
Yes.
Shannon Anderson is the best away from the ball cutter in this league. Half his points come simply from hard cuts.
Approaching 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. Grant double.
Wow.
And a wild pass by Grant that goes trickling off the fingertips of a leaping J.R. Ryder, who is back in. It's Portland's 6th turnover in the half.
Yeah, and look at the rebound here, but watch Shannon Anderson flying your screen. He always finds an opening.
Blazers by 2 with under 3 to play.
Coliseum area in the early 90s was dilapidated building, overgrown lots, and basically it wasn't an area where you would want to be caught in. Oh, now they can't believe it's the same area. When people come in, they said, well, where these houses come from? But is this the same neighborhood? Home ownership is the main ingredient. When you own your own home, it gives you a feeling you belong. You stand for something.
We look at the neighborhood and we look at the house and we feel like we've accomplished something.
The Fannie Mae Foundation.
It's another beautiful day.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Don't lose it to seasonal allergies. Take control.
And don't it feel good?
Talk to your doctor about Claritin. Just 1 Claritin tablet daily brings you 24 hours of non-drowsy relief from seasonal allergy symptoms. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth, similar to sugar pills.
Walking on sunshine.
Don't lose is a single day. Take clear control. Take Claritin. Imagine TV.
Hey, Freddie, I need a little information.
Well, my mind's a little fuzzy, Chief.
Let's clear it up.
Mercury Mountaineer, available V8, all-wheel drive, leather trim interior, 6-disc CD changer. I hear it's very comfortable.
You're good, kid. Where do you get your information anyway?
That's my little secret. Power move, standard fog lamps, just aluminum wheels.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Claritin. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and find out more about Claritin. And by the Fannie Mae Foundation, showing America a new way home.
This Saturday night at 8 o'clock on TNT, imagine a kid taking over a Major League Baseball team. Check out Little Big League. And then Sunday, June 6th, for the first time on network television, see Matthew McConaughey and Chris Christopherson and Lone Star. See it Sunday, June 6th, 8 o'clock, right here on TNT with Doc Rivers, Kevin Harlan. The guard play in this game has been, in a word, atrocious.
Yeah, and it's another advantage that you thought the Trailblazers would have in this series. Right now, you look at Ryder and Stoudamire, 2 for 10. Hornacek and Stockton are 2 for 9. But you thought that would be an area where the Portland Trailblazers would take advantage of with their athleticism, and they haven't.
Malone goes inside.
Oh, my. Look at the position.
Jousting with Grant. The pass to Anderson. Oh, what a shot by Anderson. How he contorted his body and tossed it up and in with very little room with which to work is amazing.
If you're a great player, you want Shandon Anderson on your team because he knows, he'll relieve pressure because he'll find an opening and always make the bucket for you.
Ryder missing again, even though he got a partial screen from Grant. Sabonis with the hook. It still does not drop.
Ostertag is having a nice defensive series against Sabonis. The reason is Sabonis is not like D-Bots. D-Bots is a quick center. Sabonis is more of a plotter that plays right into Greg Ostertag's hand.
Good point. Russell fading away as he was double-teamed. The rebound by Grant, and Stoudamire racing the other way, finding Jackson at the other end. Russell will watch it. Nice shot by the sweet shooting Jimmy Jackson.
See, that's his game to me. When you see him standing behind the three-point line, he can make some of those shots, but he's a post-up guard player, and I love when he goes down and tries to play that type of game. You remember, he scored 50 points on Scottie Pippen when he was with the Dallas Mavericks, and it was all post-points.
Malone over Grant. Another rebound reeled in by Sabonis. He now has 9. Here's Stoudamire with Stockton on him. The screen by Sabonis. The pitch out to Ryder for 3. Here comes Russell. Knocked down by Sabonis. Picked up by Malone. Into Anderson. Fighting through traffic. Tearing up the terrain, and a foul.
Malone finding Anderson is starting to sound like Stockton finding Malone. And you see it every look at Anderson back in your screen, how he just cuts. If you turn your back on him, he's going to find an opening, get to it, and make the bucket.
Watch this, so with no room to go, and underneath the backboard, he had to kind of lean out, plunge, and then contort and put it up. He's a free agent after this season, is Shandon Anderson, as is Karl Malone. And Anderson missing the throw. This has not been a good guard night, a good passing night.
A good basketball night.
A good basketball night.
When you look at the scoreboard, you look at the Knicks and the Hawks, and you look at this good game offensively. If you like offense tonight, it has not been a good night.
And after all that is said and done, we've got a 30-28 Blazer 2-point lead.
Yeah, and early on, I thought the Portland Trailblazers blew a great opportunity when Karl Malone went out of the game. Now, in the second quarter, I thought it was the Jazz turn to blow an opportunity. Wallace was out of the game, hasn't really played in the second quarter. Grant had 2 fouls, and you thought couldn't play too aggressive, yet it's the Portland Trailblazers now with the lead.
But the foul situation has affected ever so slightly Portland's attack tonight.
Yeah, it really has, but it also has affected the Jazz due to the fact that Malone had to sit such a long time.
Jackson guarded by Russell, who is reaching in, and a foul called on Russell. Basket will not count. Jackson will go to the stripe.
And one of the things I love about the way Mike Dunleavy coaches this team he will look at how the game is played. And early on, Grant gets hot. Every single play goes to Grant. Now he sees that Jackson is starting to warm up. The last 3 offensive possessions have gone to Jimmy Jackson. Feed the guy who is hot. Feed that what is working. Obviously, not a lot has been working in this first half, but it's a smart move by Mike Dunleavy.
Doc, you know, of all these transplanted players, Jimmy Jackson probably has made the biggest adjustment of anyone from starting out coming off the bench.
Well, he was near an all-star.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 50 points in one game. People were talking about him, and then all of a sudden his career starts going down the wrong road. And I think he's starting to get it back. But I think the key for him is to get away from being a jump shooter, go back to being the power guard he was when he first came into Dallas.
Stockton for 3. Rebounded inside by Stoudamire. They've got a 3-on-2 orchestrated by Stoudamire. Great hesitation by Williams. Rebound by Anderson. Now Utah with numbers, 3-on-2, and Stockton wisely curls and will slow it up.
That was a poor break. You have 3-on-1, and your first pass to the guy on a wing is a lob pass. That allowed 2 other guys from the Jazz to get into the defensive run. You can't do that.
Shot clock and the game clock are 1. Stockton to Ostertag, fouled by Sabonis. That's 2. Well, coming up, the AT&T halftime report with Ernie Johnson and our buddy, the man, Kenny, the Jet Smith, who will tell us in his own words why these games are so sluggish tonight and why the scoring is so slow.
So then we're going to have to call him Kenny the Professor Smith. And call Ernie the Jet Johnson, maybe.
Well, he was. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the way Ernie kind of weaves his way in and out of these games, he does jet around from game to game and score to score. It's all coming up, folks, in the AT&T halftime report from Atlanta with the 22nd timeout taken by Portland coach Mike Dunleavy. Portland, the Pacific Division champions, 7th youngest team in the NBA. And Doc, again, to show the breadth of their bench, the great depth they possess. 9 different players lead 9 different statistical categories.
And then when you hear about the naysayers about the Portland Trail Blazers, that's one of the areas that they actually knock, because they don't have the go-to guy. And there's some truth to that. You know, when you don't have a guy that you can depend on every night. I'll give you an example. Last night, last play, Greg Popovich closes his eyes and says, I'm going to Tim Duncan. You know, now, you can't do that when you're Mike Dunleavy. You have to look and see how the game is played and who is playing well. That's obviously not a luxury he has. But when you look at this team, they're the deepest team in the NBA.
Mike Dunleavy, with a variety of his teams he's played with, and a coach now with Los Angeles, Milwaukee, and now the Portland Trail Blazers. And last night, that Indiana-Philly game was fun to watch. Exciting athleticism on both sides. Game 3 is tomorrow on TNT. Rick Smits has got to come up big. Rose has been great. And Iverson has to be the key for the 76ers.
And what's up with the socks? Wow. I like black socks.
Well, remember last year they all shaved, and they said they looked too ugly. Working on Grant. Great pass to Hornacek.
One of the few teams in the league who throw the ball to the post and then still run that split cut. And it is an effective cut. Nice timeout by Mike Dunleavy. He has to stop the run.
Utah has their biggest lead. It's a 20-second timeout as Hornacek converts there. 39-34. Utah is on top. And Danny Ainge, your Phoenix Suns just finished a series in the first round with the Portland Trail Blazers. What are your residual thoughts on this rugged Portland team?
Well, Portland is Brian Grant has given Utah a little bit of trouble. He obviously hurt us really bad in the first round. He's really come into his own and become a great player. But the point guard play on both teams really hasn't been so good the first half, and I think that's why it's such a low-scoring game.
That's probably because you're used to seeing probably the best point guard in the NBA right now, Danny, and Jason Kidd.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. But, you know, Stoudamire had a great series against us, as did Greg Anthony. And, you know, I've played against Stockton many years and coached against him. And he's a much better player than he's played in this first half. So I anticipate the point guard play to pick up here in the second half.
Do you think that's the key to this first half is point guard play? To the game, you think that's the key?
I think so. I think, you know, I like my money on Stockton with 5 minutes to go in the game. But he really has struggled so far in the first half.
Danny, as a coach, what would you do to try to get these teams back on track?
Well, you know, both teams are playing a very intense defensive game, and Ostertag has made a difference on the post-up to J.R. Ryder. But I would just keep going down to Brian Grant and to J.R. Ryder in the post and make double teams, and I think the shots are going to start falling.
Which they do here, but Ostertag had something to say with that. Here comes Russell at the other end. Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Brian Grant just gangstered him a foul from Karl Malone. But the play of Greg Ostertag. First, he changes Isaiah Ryder's shot. Then he comes in and changes that. Wallace, he is just playing a great game right now. And then the pass. They are getting out and running. That's what the Jazz have to do. They are having a tough time scoring in half court besides Karl Malone. The way they're going to get other points is by running.
Stockton picks up his second foul. Here's Brian Grant at the free throw line. Wallace is in the game, 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 fouls.
Well, Kevin, I'm going to go back to what we talked about earlier in the show. Stoudamire and Sabonis, they have to make the shots. If they're not going to make shots, then Ostertag and Stockton are going to be able to play like roamers and go down and play defense, help out, and it's going to cause havoc.
Sabonis is 0-6. Hornacek. Sabonis collects his 12th rebound, and that is a playoff record high for him.
Well, that's something he has done well. No, there's a ton of rebounds tonight because there's a ton of misses.
Ryder with the follow-through, and he buries the 3.
You almost knew he'd make that. Missed the layup on the upper end, and then makes the tough shot. But any shot that goes in for him can ignite him to a run. And I agree with Danny Ainge. I think that's the other place you go down to the post, another guard turnover.
That is number 11 against the Jazz as Ryder takes it on the wing. He wants the isolation.
Well, he made that last shot. He's going to try to get it going.
Now
that's 2 in a row.
So now Ryder lurking in the shadows most of the game has emerged with 2 quick shots, and it's a 1-point game. Jump ball, it is. Great defense by Sabonis.
I'm telling you, how many times have you seen the Utah Jazz play without running their pick and roll? And they have not been able to do it. In game 1, they went away from the pick and roll. And in game 2, you haven't seen the pick and roll much in this series. And I think it's due to the way the Portland Trailblazers are playing John Stockton. Damon Stoudamire, who's not known as a defender, is having a great defensive series.
6'1" Stockton jumping against the 7'3" Sabonis. Any bets on this one?
I don't know.
The thing is, Sabonis may win it without even jumping. He can't jump to begin with, but his size and his reach may win it for him as they try to rearrange the Malone-Grant combo. He got up a little bit that time and wins it. Here's Ryder with the court-length bounce, and it's caught by Stoudamire at the other end. Portland is on a 6-0 run. Wallace, Sabonis,
nice cut.
First basket tonight.
A nice, aggressive cut by Sabonis.
Crucial swing right here in the opening minutes of the first.
Yeah, and great adjustment, Kevin, because, you know, Sabonis has just been standing around behind the 3 when Ostertag goes to help. That time he followed right behind him and got himself a layup.
Also with the miss. Big moments by the Blazers in the first part of the second half.
Great timeout. Mike Dunleavy calls the timeout.
Good point.
Utah's on a run, and now it's the Portland Trailblazers who come right back.
Malone and Wallace down the lane. Great knock away by Wallace. Shot clock at 8. Utah will inbound.
Karl Malone makes it very difficult to call a foul for him because you don't know when he's flopping or when he's actually fouled. I mean, he flops every single play. Look at the cut by Sabonis. Nice job.
And finally that falls. Maybe that signals better things to come for the Blazers. My goodness, what was going on there?
I was about to scramble for my rule book because the last time I checked, that was over and back, and there was no whistle.
Very strange. 6.5 to play in the third.
The unforced turnovers right now by the Jazz, you're not used to seeing the Jazz a team that turns the ball over. And this happened all year. So, you know, Portland's playing great defense. You don't take anything away from them. But when you're 25th in the league in turnovers, that means you turn the ball over against everybody.
And reputedly, the Jazz, the best thinking man's team in the NBA.
They've always been low in the turnover category. This year they're high. And I think that's been the difference in their play.
Uh-oh. Sabonis has suddenly caught fire. He's made 2 in a row, both difficult, both inside, and Portland benefiting, leading by 3.
And both patient. Yes. I think he's rushed his shots tonight in game 1. And those last 2 shots were very patient. Portland right now is really playing well.
On a 10-0 roll. Stockton, shot clock at 2. Desperation shot, won't go. Chased out of bounds. Shot clock buzzer went off. Violation on the Jazz. Give it back to the Blazers.
Now, 2 times in a row now, Sabonis has gotten the ball. Look how he's taking his time. See, the other times he caught and tried to throw that quick hook shot. That time took 2 dribbles, a couple of very slow fakes, and then makes the shot.
And it's hard to fault the defense of Hornacek, pushing him off his spot. A 3 by Ryder. He's on fire. Isaiah Ryder.
Boy, the Trailblazers are feeling it, and they're smelling it right now. And though they've struggled, I think composure, and we've been talking about it, they've done a great job of not getting frustrated and just keep playing defense.
Malone the fadeaway, the rebound by the flying Ryder inside. Ostertag claws it away. Well, we know Utah can win on the road. We don't know if the Blazers can beat a good team like Utah on the road. So tonight is imperative for Portland.
It'd be nice because they're playing well, and they did beat Phoenix on the road, but now they would like to do it again.
But a top 4 team, they have not found a road win this year. Ryder with an 8-point quarter.
Watch Due South at 6 and ER at 7, weeknights on TNT.
It's the most powerful custom on the planet. 6 cylinders. 6 carbs. 1,520 cc's. Only one motorcycle in the world can cruise like this. The Valkyrie from Honda. During custom finance days, get 5.9 APR on new Valkyries.
A friend told me about Quest Personals. It's a telephone meeting service. You know, record an ad describing yourself and what you're looking for. It was as simple as that, and I'm happy to say I found someone to share my life with. I only wish I'd tried Quest Personals sooner.
I guess it all began when I started noticing couples. I thought, how come I haven't met that special someone? So I started reading the Quest Personals. David enjoys skydiving, something I've always been interested in. Quest, it's fun, it's safe, and it works.
There are more than 2,000 bars, nightclubs, and restaurants in the Tampa Bay area, which are regularly featured in the Bay Life section of the Tampa Tribune. So, what are you doing tonight? The Tampa Tribune. It's good to know. Now in every Sunday Tribune, you'll get stock listings, weekly news roundup, more local news, health and fitness tips, Trib TV, and the Bay Area's largest classified section.
Blazers by 6. Let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. In this age of television where we watch many of our NBA stars progress from the high school level to the Hall of Fame, we have a rare glimpse of a young Arvydas Sabonis in his prime, playing in his homeland of Lithuania. Now, Sabonis is a big man who possessed guard-like skills and quickly became a legend overseas. Unfortunately, by the time he reached the States, injuries robbed him of his agility. And also, and more importantly, robbed NBA fans of a chance to see a truly, truly great big man at his best.
Terrific job. And we saw that earlier today, and we're just floored by the sincerity of this big man with a giant heart. And there is a journalist from Lithuania who covers the NBA and covering in particular the feats of Arvydas Sabonis, who to this day remains a legend in basketball in his native Lithuania.
Yeah, I had the chance to play against him a couple of times before he came over to the States, and we missed truly a guy that could have been one of the great big players in this league.
Inside it goes to Grant. Jousting with Malone, who fouls him as he goes up for the shot right there, with 4.5 to play in the third quarter. Number 3 on Karl Malone.
Kevin, right now, the Portland Trail Blazers are getting every single thing they want. They're playing great defense. They're stymieing the Utah guards. They're slowing down their entire offense. They're taking them out of the pick and roll sets. And right now, Mike Dunleavy is picking and choosing who he wants to go down in the post. Brian Grant has been effective. Sabonis has been effective, and now Ryder has been effective. That's 3 options that they have. So right now, the Jazz need a lift. I think it's a great job right now by Jerry Sloan bringing in Shannon Anderson. Scored 8 points in the first half. He will be key if the Jazz are going to come back.
You saw the matchup statistically between the two. Anderson is in the game. And, Doc, you began this broadcast tonight talking about Portland and how they could not get in foul trouble, and sure enough, they have been pretty good in that category.
Yeah, they did early on, but I thought more importantly, so did Malone. So that kind of made it a swat, just everybody equal. Now, no one's in foul trouble. Grant and Wallace have been able to stay on the court, and that is great news for Mike Dunleavy.
Kicking violation, reset the 24-second shot clock. Blazers on top by 8, which is their biggest lead tonight. Utah has missed their last 5 shots. They haven't scored in the last 4.5 minutes. Isley in for Stockton. Anderson is in. He gets the pass. Malone is inside, and a foul is called on Wallace.
Just watch Shannon Anderson. He comes in. He gives them energy. He gives them power. He gives them quickness. And this year, he gives them another jump shot. And just take a look at Grant, and we talk about how he works. He thinks right now, I'm a ping pong ball, and he doesn't like it. It is quiet here in Utah.
Anderson, the feed to Ostertag, and outside to Russell for 3. It's not quiet anymore.
No, big shot. But once again, please do not double team Greg Ostertag. I'm not knocking Greg Ostertag, but make him score.
That breaks the drought of only almost 5 minutes by Utah, and a 15-0 Portland run. 3.5 to play here in the third as Ryder will work on Anderson with the crossover and the drive inside.
Oh, wow.
Magnificent ride by Ryder.
See, nice adjustment by Ryder. When Anderson came in earlier, he tried to overpower him. You're not going to overpower Anderson. So that time he faced him up and used quickness.
Ryder has caught fire. Anderson over Ryder. Nice bounce on the play.
Boy, he comes in, he draws the foul, and he scores. Anderson right now is their 3rd best offensive player after Russell and Malone.
Ogman is in with Stoudamire, Sabonis, Grant, and Ryder. Anderson is trying to put the clamps on Isaiah. A lot of traffic inside that lane. Sabonis has been hot last 2. He's hit 3 in a row inside, all from a different angle. All shoved and bullied inside. Another foul called on Ostertag.
Now, Sabonis will get the credit, but the reason Sabonis scored was right there. Ryder. I mean, look at that pick. That is a great pick that allows Sabonis to get great position, and then he makes the awkward shot. But that play was because of Isaiah Ryder's pick. Picking is so underrated in this league. The reason the Jazz have been a great team is because they set great picks, and their guards set most of the picks.
And that's a rarity. It's hard to sell guards on sacrificing their body.
Yeah, and it's hard to sell big men that there could be good pickers. They think because they're big that that's a good pick.
Anderson with the crossover on Ryder. Good defense by Isaiah. Shot clock at 4. Anderson the miss. Rebound by Grant. Blazers on top, 53-46. Portland has hit their last 7 shots. 8 of 12 in this third quarter. Stoudamire to Ryder for 3. And picked up by Sabonis. Tangling with Ostertag, and Sabonis with the foul. Number 3 on him.
Yeah, I want you to take a look at Shannon Anderson and his hands. He's trying to swipe the ball here and gets them crossed up. And when you miss reaching, you get beat to the basket. Still, that was a tough shot that Ryder had to make over Greg Ostertag.
Well, Ryder will leave any defender, when he's on his game, not neat.
You know what he has that makes Ryder so good? He's quick. He has a great first step, one. He has a great body, so he's stronger than most guys who guard him. And he has a jump shot. And when you have a jump shot, you really don't have to be quick, because all you have to do is show the ball, and the defense has to react. You know, you wonder why Larry Bird got open so much. It's because he showed the ball, pump fake, defense off balance, he goes around.
Foul situation for both the Blazers and the Jazz. 2:08 to play here in the third. We're at the lowest scoring first half in this game of any previous playoff game in the history of the NBA. A total of 63 points from both teams. Well, there's a lot of confusion down low, and that foul's on the Utah Jazz. Ryder got caught up. Grant was in the vicinity, and Shandon Anderson is tagged with his second foul.
We talk about game one and composure and energy and playing mental toughness, Utah ball. You know, talking to Mike Dunleavy today, he said, you know, I don't mind that, because that's something you can make an adjustment on. If it was an adjustment that a guy was more talented than our guy, you can't make an adjustment on that. You can see right now Portland is playing more physical than the Utah Jazz.
Ryder with the miss, and a rare miss at that in this quarter. And Isley will come the other way. Stockton is on the bench with 5 points and 4 assists. Malone. And a 4-point game.
Shannon Anderson. You know, Malone gets the credit, but that was all Shannon Anderson. He calls the ball, help, he gets the layup, miss, Malone gets the tip.
This is a rugged series between two of the best in the West. A minute 30 left in the third. 53-49, the Blazers.
Defense also.
And here's the matchup, and Hornacek has been the primary defender, although it's been Anderson basically in the third.
Yeah, Anderson is a better defender than Hornacek, and it used to be that Hornacek was a better offensive player. I think Anderson may have passed him in both categories now.
I would agree. Ryder is on the bench. Jackson has taken his place. Ryder with 10 points in the third, 16 for the game. They need him to score. Sabonis has had a great third quarter. Scoops it inside the frame. Double teamed. Ogden is in the game. And Isley comes the other way for the Utah Jazz with Malone, Russell, Anderson, Ostertag, and Isley at the point.
If you're going to help, like Ostertag is helping, they have to find Sabonis. Because if Ostertag is way over there helping, Sabonis has to be wide open.
Actually, Ostertag is doing exactly what he needs to do for this team to win.
He's had a terrific game and a half. He played great in game one. He's doing it again in game two. Now, Sabonis has made 2 shots in a row. You have to find him. Ostertag is just roaming around, and he's helping on defense, and he's causing havoc.
Ostertag had a poor series in the first round against Sacramento. He had a meeting with Jerry Sloan. And Karl Malone, in fact, came out in the press and criticized him, as you see Hornacek taking the place.
I'm going to interrupt you. It wasn't a meeting. It was a scolding. A meeting is when both parties sit down and discuss. That wasn't a meeting. That was Jerry Sloan telling him he has to play better. That was an order.
I'll tell you what's interesting. Malone makes less than Ostertag a season. Stop
it. You're going to get me mad now.
How do you think Karl feels? That could change, though, after this year. Supposedly, there is a 4-year, $66 million deal on the table. We shall see.
That's illegal. They can't talk contract.
Well, it was done before, and he just turned it down. Sabonis for 2. Ostertag volleyballs it, reels it in, gets it out to Hornacek.
Watch Malone.
He plants on the block, and Isley for 3. And Malone is there to cover it up. A difference of 4 seconds, game clock and shot clock, if you wind down the third quarter, which has a little bit more life to it than the entire first half. Isley on the drive. And the dish to Anderson. And the feed to Malone.
I'm telling you, they bring in Shannon Anderson, and all of a sudden, the game gets close. That's not a coincidence.
Stoudamire beats the buzzer.
Nice.
Stoudamire's first point since the fourth quarter of Game 1, and they come at a great time. Blazers needed some momentum. 55-52 at the end of 3. But it was a third quarter authored by Isaiah Ryder. 10 points in the third, 16 for the game. New life here in Salt Lake. We go to the fourth quarter. 52, and Doc, in that third quarter, Arvydas Sabonis seemed to find his stride.
Yeah, I want you to take a look here. Now, watch Greg Ostertag. This is what he's doing. He's going to come and help. What Sabonis has to do is follow behind him. He can get a layup. Instead, on this one, he stands there and takes the jump shot. Now, he can make that jump shot, but he hasn't been making it. Early on in the third quarter, he was following behind Ostertag, and he was getting a layup. He has to continue to do that. If he doesn't, then I think Ostertag will make a dent in this game.
That is not Evel Knievel.
That's crazy. That's what that is. My goodness. You know, when I see guys do that, I always wonder, what made them try it the first time?
Right.
You know, you can get good at something if you practice, but why would you do it the first time?
We begin the fourth quarter here in Salt Lake with Utah trailing by 3. Sabonis for 2, and he drills it home.
Yeah, now if he's going to start making that, Ostertag is going to have to stay at home. And that's exactly what he has to do. Either that or follow behind and get the dunk. But he has to make open shots, or Ostertag will cause havoc defensively.
Earl Bailey is in for the Jazz. Hornacek, Isley, Ostertag, and Anderson. It's Hornacek with a double pump and the drive down the lane.
Every point right now for the Jazz is important because Karl Malone, the guy who they run their offense through, is sitting on the bench. So right now is a key time for the Jazz to just try to stay close. If you're the Trailblazers, you want to take over.
Anthony is in. Here's Jackson driving. Come on! Rebound by Ostertag.
See, you can't bail out. If Jackson goes strong, he gets a foul. Instead, he turns his back and tries to throw some wild shot up, and he expects the officials to bail him out. You will not be bailed out in the playoffs.
Screen by Bailey, freeing up Isley. Sabonis with another rebound. Whacked by Anderson, and a foul called on Shandon Anderson as we drop in on Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Kevin and Doc. You're silly. Anyways, Jerry Sloan for the fourth quarter said, look, guys, once we get the lead, we've got to get it out of our heads to try to outscore Portland. We can't outscore them. We've got to get it done at the defensive end, and more importantly, be more aggressive on the defensive board. We can't allow to give Portland second and third attempts, and also at the offensive end. Let's set some screen, guys.
Yeah, that's a good call. The screen setting right now has not been great from Utah.
Hogman working inside. Basket did not count, and a foul called on the Jazz and Jeff Hornacek.
I mean, it's another great matchup right here. Altman's not a great scorer from out, but inside, nice post player. Nice job by Hornacek just saving them from falling. That's a fine if you're on a Pat Riley team.
A big fine.
Let him fall, please.
Ostertag with 14 rebounds, leading the arena. We'll figure that out in a second. Across the lane, Altman.
Oh, wow.
A knee was thrown. Fourth foul is assessed Hornacek.
Yeah, and again, Mike Dunleavy, he sees something. And right now, what he likes is this post-up with Altman and Hornacek. And you can see the knee. They always give you that. Good call. Now, Hornacek is out, and Russell is in the game.
Hogman surveys. In the first half, the hook shot betrayed Sabonis, but not in the second.
You know what it is, Kevin? He's taking his time. In game 1 and most of game 2, he was rushing. That time again, he caught it, took a dribble, and slowly went up for his shot. No one's going to block his shot. He's 7-4.
Or 7-3, but who's counting?
Not me.
Russell.
Wow, that's nice. And again, with Malone out of the game, every time the Jazz score, it's gravy. Brian Russell and Shannon Anderson have to be the two to create offense.
An offensive surge now in the second half and a 3-point Blazer lead.
Sorry. Not enough. No, still short.
great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Paper or plastic? Paper.
Make it a Bud Light.
Guys, need a receipt? I'm going to the movies.
Hey.
High-definition home theater.
The journey continues.
Time to roll, baby, time to roll.
In a battle of pride and passion, leaders emerge. And a new champion will rise. The NBA presents the playoffs on TNT. Now playing.
Tomorrow night on TNT, Philadelphia hosting Indiana in Game 3 of that series. Game time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow night on TNT. And Cheryl Miller, you know something about the Pacers and a guy on that team, Reggie Miller. Any inside family secrets you can share with us?
Well, let me just add that Reggie just missed out on Defensive Player of the Year because he's doing a heck of a job on Iverson. But as a quick tidbit, Greg Ostertag ran to the locker room to just change some contacts. He'll be back out. But Reggie Miller just missed out, dog.
Yeah, I tell you, Cheryl, I'm going to start calling Reggie Miller the flamethrower because he's keeping Allen Iverson very hot.
I voted for him.
But I tell you what, somebody better slow Reggie Miller down because he's been scoring himself.
Man, him and Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose has been terrific.
I love Rose.
My wife loves Roses.
You should send her some more. As Anthony saves it, Russell then got in between the pass and knocked it away.
Well, it's been a strange game. It hasn't been a beautiful game, obviously.
Not at all.
But it's been a game like defensive surges throughout. And right now, you kind of sense now Utah is starting to make a little defensive surge.
Down goes Anthony. No call made. Sabonis has been crippled in this second half, but stands there. He'd had 7 ties and 7 lead changes, and the Blazers by 3. Stockton trying to force a pass. Outside to Russell. Malone is in, Anderson is on the perimeter, and Todd Fuller is in the middle.
You know, they're setting their offense up with like 8 and 6 seconds on the clock, and that's why Portland has been effective. Nice pass by Stockton.
And a great put up by Todd Fuller, a little-used reserve big man.
And every time he gets a layup, he should try to foul him. So that was one missed assignment by Portland.
1-point game.
1-point game.
Away by Malone. Shot clock at 4. Wallace over Malone. Right down the middle.
That's what he does. See the difference between him and Grant. Grant uses body's physical, and tries the power move. Wallace grabs the ball, and he likes to take the fadeaway jump shot. They need big play down the stretch from Grant and Wallace.
Wallace's first point since the first quarter. Russell tries to force the issue. Out of bounds and off of Portland.
You know, you keep watching every time one of the Jazz players drive, they get hit, they go down, and they look for the officials for a little love. But they're not getting any love.
Have you been getting any?
I get a little, but not as much as I would like.
It's tough to get love in the playoffs.
It really is. You're not getting it from the officials, that's for sure.
6 seconds to shoot. Here comes Russell. Kicks it out to Anderson for 3.
Remarkable.
We are tied again at 61. The 8th tie of this game.
It's tough to get out of your mind when you played a guy for a couple of years that he can now shoot. You watch the Trailblazers and they lead Shannon Anderson. I don't think they believe yet that he can make those shots.
I was just going to say, Grant has been quiet, and he is whacked inside there and fouled by Utah.
Well, he just came back in the game, and he's going to be real loud now because now they have to make a decision. Who are they going to put on Grant? If you put Fuller on Grant, they're going to Grant. If you put Fuller on Wallace, they're going to Wallace.
That is at the free throw line, a career 70% free throw shooter. And cans that right there. Brent tonight from the line, 9 of 12. In game 1, Brent was just 3 of 4. So that alone has been a big difference for the Blazers.
Well, the biggest difference is that they've gone to the foul line, and Utah dominated going to the free throw line in game 1. I mean, there was a huge advantage. 42 free throws by Utah in game 1, only 25 by the Trailblazers.
Rebound by Russell, Anderson to Stockton. Malone and Fuller round out the 5 for the Utah Jazz. Under 8 to play now in the 4th.
Right now, I keep thinking about what Tony Brown, the assistant coach of the Trailblazers, said. Every game there's a stretch where we kind of lose our composure. If we keep it for an entire game against the Utah Jazz, we'll win. They have 7 minutes, and I think they've done a terrific job so far.
But when it has happened, Doc, this is when it has happened. Grant and Fuller is there, just like Doc predicted. He'd get the ball, and out of bounds it goes. 7 to shoot. Ryder is back in the game.
Well, smart. I mean, Mike Dunleavy is no dummy. He's not going to try to post up Karl Malone. He's going to try to post up the weaker guy, just like San Antonio did yesterday. Right. You know, Greg Popovich is looking. Whoever J.R. Reed was guarding, that's who they were going to go to. Nice move by Greg Anthony.
Approaching 7 to play in the 4th quarter. Portland on top, 64 to 61. For a partial screen. Stockton to Anderson. Will he go? Oh, what a play!
Wow. Watch the switch of hands on this play. He gets fouled, and he switches the ball over to his left hand. You'll see Ryder reach, knocks it out of his hand, gathers himself, and throws it up with the left. Unbelievable play by Shannon Anderson.
After the lowest scoring first half by 2 teams in playoff history, Portland and Utah have exploded here in the second half. Utah coming in after a 10-point win in game 1. Portland trying to keep their heads about them, keep their composure, something that they watched slip away in game 1. And a win tonight for Arvydas Sabonis and the Blazers, Doc, is a must if they want any chance in this series.
Yeah, you know, they come in this series knowing that they have to win at least 1 game in Utah, obviously, because Utah has home court advantage, but probably 2, because you have to figure that Utah will win 1 in Portland. So they had a chance in game 1, and they lost it. Now they have another opportunity.
And, Doc, 19 fewer free throws by the Utah Jazz tonight as opposed to game 1 Tuesday.
And it's the difference. You look at the score, that's why the score is tied. In game 1, when Utah was shooting poorly, they were on the free throw line making free throw shots. In game 2, they haven't had those shots.
Hickson for the lead. Rebounded inside by the long-armed Anderson. Here comes Stockton the other way. Anthony in his way. Stockton to Fuller. Jackson gets it out to Anthony, a defensive-minded guard, and when he's on, he's very streaky and good, but when he's off, other guys got to do the shoot.
Yeah, he tends sometimes to take back. Look at this look.
Wow. Ryder.
Wow.
Ryder with a breathtaking second half, and the Blazers up by 3.
Greg Anthony.
And a great steal and into Jackson.
Greg Anthony right now, defensively, is causing havoc. He's making it difficult. Stockton's having a tough time getting the ball.
We knew that was a mismatch coming in.
Yeah.
Portland by 5. Both teams shooting under 40% for the game.
That's a 5-point turnaround for the Portland Trailblazers.
The spinning Russell. Shot clock violation, no. Picked up by Wallace. Anthony, Jackson.
Nice job. And they're attacking. They're playing hard. And in my opinion right now, it's the defensive play of Greg Anthony. That last set by Utah, they didn't get into their set until there were 6 seconds on the shot clock. I mean, what a nice run. Look at the first, the wide open shot by Isaiah Ryder. Makes the shot. Now watch Greg Anthony. Deflect the ball, goes to Jimmy Jackson, gets another layup. And then on the other end, another great defensive play by Anthony. They go aggressive on the other end and score. Nice job.
Purchase a Wagner cordless power roller $9.49 and receive a free Wall Magic Accent roller kit. Get a Wagner cordless power roller $9.49 and free Wall Magic Accent kit today. Get a Wagner and get it done.
WWF Over the Edge Live, Sunday, May 23rd on pay-per-view. Order and receive a free Undertaker pendant. Check out WWF.com for details.
What kind of price do you put on value? How do you categorize dependability? What is your rating of excellence? At Stadium Toyota, our service has proven itself superior to all of our competition when put to the test. Our confidence comes from being the only dealership in Tampa to be presented the Certified Dealership Award by J.D. Power & Associates. So don't take our word for it. Perfection speaks for itself at Stadium Toyota.
Earlier tonight, Game 2, the Atlanta Hawks have completely now fumbled away home court advantage. They lose for the second consecutive home court game against the New York Knicks, and now the Knicks go back to Madison Square with a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and unlike the other series, Indiana won their 2 games at home. San Antonio won their 2 games at home. Atlanta lost their 2 games at home, so they're in big trouble.
After the game, join host Bob Lorenz along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Charlotte Hornet Eddie Jones for Inside the NBA. 5.5 to play in this one. Portland in fourth quarter shooting tonight, 7 of 10. Doc, this was the quarter 2 nights ago where they scored just 5 points.
Yeah, and I think most of it, again, is defense. That, again, was caused by Greg Anthony's defense on John Stockton.
Ryder with a bullet of a pass inside to Wallace.
I almost hate to say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry Sloan went with Howard Isley right now, because Greg Anthony is really having a nice game on John Stockton.
Blazers fractioning up their defense. Malone inside. Finds it for 2 at the glide.
Pick and roll, huh? They've gone to the pick and roll, and on that time it worked. And it's really a pick and slip, because watch Malone. Doesn't even really set it. Just a little bump and slips right to the paint. Got to get a body on him quickly.
You said in game 1, Portland plays the Utah pick and roll about as well as any team in the NBA.
They really do, and I think the key is their guards are able to put ball pressure on Stockton and on Howard Isley, and they push their way over top, so the bigs don't have to help as much.
6-point game, under 5 to play. Anthony down the sideline with Stockton there. Jackson in the middle, picked up by Anderson. Wallace and Russell. Stockton fighting through screen. Grant over Malone. Rebound by Karl Malone.
You know what's interesting about that little break? John Stockton, who usually always looks up court, actually looked back to see where Greg Anthony was.
Well, you don't see it much, and that means that guy, Anthony's getting in Stockton's head.
Look at him looking back. He always looks up the court. He's trying to find, where is Greg Anthony? Forget the break. I got to get rid of this pest.
Anderson into Hornacek, fumbled it away, picked up by Ryder.
Boy, turnover, turnover, turnover.
18 of them.
Yeah. Sloan said it before the game, if we turn the ball over, we're not going to win the game.
Passing the 4-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Wallace over the smaller Russell. Picked up by Stockton. Utah wants to run. Lead pass, Anderson. Great pass to Malone. The foul.
Nice job by Shannon Anderson, because if he had gone straight, he would have committed a charging foul. Instead, he changes the angle and drops it off to Karl Malone. Jimmy Jackson does a nice job on transition D. Gets there, sets, and makes Anderson make the extra pass.
Ryder's got 4. Malone tonight from the free throw line is 7 of 10. In game 1, Malone was 13 of 17.
No, it ain't over. So he's going to the line several more times. I wouldn't be surprised to see him approach that 17 area. You know, they average 30 free throws a game, this Utah Jazz team.
Utah is the number 3 free throw shooting team in the NBA. Like we talked about in game one, they've always used that to their advantage.
And I always say really number 2 to get the throw out the Lakers because they just fouled Shaq to put him on the line.
4-point game, 3:40 to play. The defense by Stockton and the subsequent foul.
Now, I don't know who fouled who on that play. I thought they fouled each other. I mean, look at this. I mean, who was fouling who here? But I think you always give that to the offensive guy. So I think it was a good call by the official.
Portland losing game one by 10. Leading at various times tonight. Their offensive play has been interspersed with fine defensive work in this fourth quarter. And they are a team that feeds off good defense.
Yeah, and the key here now is 2 things. 1, they have to make their free throws. And 2, whoever they select as their go-to guy down the stretch has to come up big. I think it'll probably be Wallace because he has an advantage in the small forward position.
Utah in the rebounding category, +8 over the taller Blazers. That is a surprise. Stockton surveys, and Malone is 3. Looking on Grant, lost the ball, and off of Portland.
I tell you what, that was off of Karl Malone. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, I thought that was clearly off of Karl Malone.
I think Mike Dunleavy felt the same way.
And watch the deflection, and see Malone hits it right there. You can see Dunleavy clapping. That should be Portland's ball right there.
Hornacek slashing inside.
That's the second one he's made with no time on the clock. Be careful here if you're a Portland Trailblazer fan, because this is the time.
Ryder is inside, and Anderson guarding him. Pokes it away. Shot clock at 5. Ryder across the lane. Wow. Shot by Ryder. A breathtaking play by Isaiah Ryder. 3 left on the clock. The Blazers on top by 5. Stockton to Russell. Through Wallace and lost it.
See, the flopping tonight, and I told you before the game, when I looked at who the 3 officials were, I said the flopping tonight will not work.
That ball was altered on the shot by Jackson. Tapped inside. And Stockton comes the other way with 2:13 to play. Malone and Grant. Anderson rejected by Wallace. Outside to Stockton. Shot clock at 4. Hornacek.
Now they're letting them play.
Ryder, the fadeaway. And a foul called on the gambling Hornacek. And Wallace now arguing the call, but look at the shot by Ryder.
That is a terrific shot by Isaiah Ryder. And then great rebound by Shannon Anderson. Better defense, but then the deflection out to Hornacek, and he makes the shot. Tell you what, that last foul, I don't know if I'm going to agree with that, because all of a sudden you're calling this close. Let the guys play. Isaiah Ryder doesn't mind being pushed because he'll get his shot off.
In fact, I think, Doc, he thrives on the contact.
Yeah, he does.
Ryder tonight, 8 of 18, 22 points. Behind the 23 of Grant. And number 23 hits nothing but net.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about with this Portland Trailblazers team is the guard play. Isaiah Ryder right now is responding for this young team.
Stockton. Anderson. Tapped by Hornacek. Retrieved by Russell on a fresh 24. Hornacek on Ryder. Nice rolling jump shot by Chuck Hornacek.
And you know what? He threw that up thinking that there'd be a whistle. He didn't think that was going in. He threw that in. He thought he was going to get a foul. No whistle. You like that from the refs. I wanted to see him play instead of giving him flop fouls.
Jackson. Nice fake on Hornacek. Runs inside. Ryder has it. And a shove on the Blazers. No, making a shove on Anderson. Shandon Anderson picks up the personal foul, and he's got 4 on him. Timeout situation as it stands now with 53 seconds to play. Neither team with a foul to give, and both with a couple of timeouts in their bucket.
Yeah, you see Portland with 3 timeouts, and really the Utah with only a 20 and a full. That's not good because you're going to need to use timeouts.
Hornacek is at an 8-point fourth quarter.
Yeah, and all the shots have been acrobatic.
Yeah.
He hasn't made an easy shot.
There's a lot of acrobatic shots in this second half.
Yeah, but let's give the Trailblazers some credit here because tight game, loud arena, on the road, and they're making their free throws.
Ryder is hitting them from the line, now 5 of 6. Ryder's 25 points tonight ties a playoff career high. Stockton, Hornacek open. Can it be caught by Malone? A miss there, a rebound, grabbed by Malone. Out to Stockton for 3.
That's the 3rd offensive rebound in a row for the Jazz. Big possession here.
It's a 2-point Blazer lead with a half-minute to play. Ryder.
What a fake.
Ryder is carving up the Utah Jazz inside. 4-point lead, 17 seconds to play. Stockton, Hornacek for 3.
They won't go away.
Every chamber is filled. And Doc, no timeout. And a foul on Stockton in a 1-point Blazer lead with 10 seconds to play.
Look at the move from Isaiah Ryder. 2 times in a row, he faded away. Shandon Anderson is banking on a fadeaway. Instead, up and under. What a great move. And the response on the other end from the Utah Jazz. Quick, tough shot from Jeff Hornacek. They will not go away.
They put 0.2 of a second on the clock, so now 10.3 remains. And here's Greg Anthony at the free throw line, 1 of 2 tonight, and he is a career 74% free throw shooter. Anthony this season, 69%. Wow.
I tell you what, that did look good when it left his hands. And you know those numbers you read, throw them out because with 10 seconds left, they don't matter. Did you see the Laker game?
Yep. A miss, retrieved by Stockton. 9.2 left.
Wow.
Blazers in a vital game for the Portland Trail Blazers now, just 9 seconds away from tying up this series at 1 apiece. Utah, Doc, will have the ball. 1:20 left for them. Take us inside their huddle.
Well, Utah right now is just setting up a play. They've been through this situation many times. Wouldn't be surprised to see a pick and roll. They've scored on the last 3 pick and roll possessions, which is ironic since that's a play that they've struggled in for 2 series. Now, when you're thinking about Portland, if you're Mike Dunleavy, you're saying solid defense 1. Please, guys, no dumb fouls. There's no fouls to give. You don't want to put them on the foul line and see man and ball. Don't take your man off the cutter, and please rebound. If you can't rebound the ball, knock it out of bounds, knock it somewhere. The Jazz have scored 3 times in a row on second shots.
Utah will have Russell inbound, Stockton, Hornacek, Malone, and Anderson. Defensively for the Blazers, Jackson, Ryder, Wallace, Anthony, and Ogden.
All the
Anthony,
defensive players.
Great defensive players, exactly right. Here we go. Russell to Stockton. Mismatch against Ogden. The screen by Malone. Stockton for the tie. Anthony has it. .7 on the clock. Foul against Utah, and Portland Portland leads by 2, and they'll go to the line.
You know what? The Utah Jazz got exactly what they wanted. They got penetration from Stockton. Stockton drew contact, and I guarantee you, he thought he had a three-point play opportunity. No whistle, missed shot, and now Portland is going back 1-1.
You don't think families take this hard on this? John's young boy and his wife, Nada. How many times has Stockton made those kinds of baskets in big games like this?
And that was probably the easiest shot he's had tonight. And I guarantee you, the reason